Ms. Atkins, Deputy Marshal here. Officer Butte, can we text her to get an ETA? Just to. All right. It is 6 o'clock, and we will call this Brunswick Commission scheduled commission meeting for Wednesday, December 6th, 2023 to order. We will open it up with an invocation from Reverend Darnell Dawson. Daryl Dawson, I apologize. Right Star Baptist Church. Be all right.
All right. Okay. Heavenly Father, we stand to acknowledge that you're our maker and you're the creator and preserver of every good and every perfect gift. You're everlasting, and you're the source of our strength. We thank you for this day and for the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. We thank you, God, for the great favor shown to this city over the years. And we come now, God, to ask special blessing upon this meeting, upon the mayor, the commissioners, as you would grant the wisdom, the knowledge, and the right temperament to work together for the betterment of this community. And we pray, oh God, that you will continue to bless our city, our state, and our nation. Ask, oh God, that you would bless this country, God, to do the things that are pleasing in your sight. And we'll be careful, oh God, to give you the word, to give you the and to give you the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And thank you, Reverend. I pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
We will now move on to the adoption of the December 2023 regularly scheduled meeting agenda. I will ask quickly, because it isn't a part of the addendum package that you have, for us to move public comment after recognitions, presentations, and awards. So repeat that: move public comment after recognitions, presentations, awards, and that will be added to the addendum schedule we have before you.
There are some deferrals. I'd like to make a motion to defer item number 3. Consider approval of October 31st, 2023 finance reports, and item number 5.
Second.
Item number 5, consider approval for coastal greenery, landscape maintenance services, park public areas along U.S. Highway 17 corridor, as well as moving public comment hour after presentations, recognitions, and awards.
Okay, that have this 3 addendums, and just so I to make a motion to defer number 3, which is approval of financial reports, and defer item number 5, consider of coastal greenery, as well as move public comment to other recognitions, presentations, and awards. Is if we that as a open it for a second. Here in a first and a second, all those in favor show by the usual aye. Aye. All those opposed the same. Perfect. All opposed the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Now we'll open a motion for the agenda to be adopted. We'll open it for a motion.
A motion, we approve the adoption, or we approve the minute meetings from the regular scheduled meeting minutes of November 15th, 23.
All those in favor show by the usual sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. The agenda is with we will now move on to recognitions, presentations, and awards. And Commissioner, I would ask you to join me down at the podium. Is this on? All right. We're gonna try and get through this with pictures, everything involved, but before we get there, I'll leave it open before we read the resolution for Commissioner Roll to have a word to talk about leadership, Commissioner Martin and Commissioner Casey, and for talk about what it was, the blessing that it was to serve with you all. Open it up also for comment from Commissioner Harris. Noah's on. And then I'll say a few words, and we would love to read a resolution. And after we read that resolution, we waste more time with your pictures, because I think people are here to love on you and to say thank you. And we don't want to rush through this moment or make our time this moment. So with that, I want to open it up to Commissioner say a few words.
Mayor should have went first because I'm not going to go long. But I do want to just thank both of you for your service, for your service with the city, as well as the time that we've had to serve together for these years. I appreciate all the guidance and wisdom that you provided to me. I'm very welcome in commission once we came on. So I wish you the best of in your endeavors. I'll still be calling you all. So don't go far. So I thank you so much.
Commissioner Harris, we're online and you can hear us. We want to open it up for you to say a few words about your colleagues that you've served with for the past 11 years.
Oh, most definitely. Good evening, everyone. I am away at training, so it is an honor and a privilege to be able to tell both Julie and Johnny what an impact you all made on my life. As I came in as a newbie to this political arena, you all made it easy to learn and to just be able to move in this space and in this circle. And so I learned so much from you all, just watching how you all handle business, how you did it in front of our constituents, as well as when there were no other eyes on you, how you all still maintained your integrity, even when the public was not privy to certain conversations. And for that, I have to let you all know how honorable I consider that to be from both of you all. We've served together for now 11 years. And the lessons that I learned from you, Julie, just in how you maintain your demeanor, just watching you flow in different meetings, and just watching you as a person outside of being a commissioner, just watching you as a person and how you moved and your genuineness in what you do and how much you do love the city. Johnny, what can I say? You've been my left-hand partner for the last 11 years. And I knew that whenever I went in a meeting to address finances or financial matters, when I came back, I needed to make sure that I had all I's dotted and all T's crossed, because you were going to lean over to me and say, Felicia, did you have an opportunity to review that? And so it kept me maintaining that integrity. It kept me knowing that the questions I was asking and how we were moving was in line with what we were trying to achieve and the integrity and transparency that we were forging as representatives of our constituents for the city of Brunswick. And so I'm going to miss you guys because I was a baby coming into this. And so you all were definitely a part of my growth and my examples as I continue to grow in this role as a commissioner. So I just want to tell you thank you. I want to bless your going out and bless whatever God has next for you all. And as Commissioner Rowe has said, don't go too far because I will continue to look to you all for that wisdom. So I tell you, congratulations as you not come to the end of this journey, but as you open the doors into your next journey. So God bless you and thank you for all that you've done for the city of Brunswick. And we just pray that God's grace continue to cover you. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna throw some people on the spot here because, like I said, I don't want to do this more. We have both commissioners in the house who will sit in these seats after you all move on, and I'm gonna ask them to come forward and just say a few words of obviously thanks for your service. And then after that, I think we have some family in the room. You got a lot of family in the room and a lot of people want to say thank you. And the same way we pause to talk about all the things that the community wants, the same pause to talk about all of the things that we want to change and the future that we for our city is the same way I want to pause right now and get everyone to say thank you, because 11 years of service, not easy. It's not easy to be run into at the grocery store and on the corner and everywhere else for people to talk to you about their problems and for you to fit their problems, the vision of the city. And you've done that in a beautiful way for over 11 years. What I do right now is the same way I do it from up there. Commissioner Gwen Atkinson and Commissioner Savy, if you all could come up first and share a 30 seconds to 45 seconds to a minute of thanks with us. And then after that, the family of Commissioner Martin and the family of Commissioner Case, and we would ask that you come and share some words of love and thanks so that it can be in the public record. And after that, if there's anyone from the community that wants to thanks and a moment, just saying thank you for lending an ear and being a leader to our community, we're going to open it up right now for everyone. So Commissioners-elect, I'll call you up first.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey.
It is a delight to be able to say thank you. I appreciate you all serving our city, and I hope I could do as well a job as you all have done. Thank you again.
Again, congratulations. You both are huge examples for myself, for all of our elected officials in the room. And I really appreciate your leadership and your vision. And myself or Miss Acton can really scratch the surface of what you both have done for the city. I think consider a success.
Executive session, by the way.
Thank Brian. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank Brian.
Good evening. I'd like to say thank you for your service. Of course, I've been in government for a long time, served for a number of commissioners and council members throughout the state of Georgia, and you all are two of the finest people that I've ever met. And I appreciate you hiring me and bringing me to Brunswick and giving me the opportunity to serve this great city along with you. And I wish you the very best. Thank you.
we will open it up for community and family, but I won't put them on the spot. Because I can put commissioners and the city manager on, but I put them on the spot. But if they do, if they have a word, because we understand is the sacrifice hasn't only been Commissioner Martin's, Commissioner Kane's, it's also been the sacrifice of husband and your wife and your family and your children and your grandchildren. If there is a singular sign off that anybody in family wants to do, good riddance, God bless you, see you later. We want to open it for you right now, but we don't want to pressure you, but we do open it up for you. I knew it.
Finally. My name is Martin, and I'm married to Commissioner Martin. And she's a busy person. She handles all she does with real great aplomb. She's had this position, she's had a career in real estate, other civic activities, and then she had to put up with me, which makes it tough. Thank you for the example you've been to me, to our children, and to our grandchildren. And John, thank you for your steadfastness and your love that's in us. Both of you have done a tremendous job, and the are going to miss you because of your sterling character, a great skill at what you do. Thank you both. All right, thank you.
How you doing? Hey, I'm JK. I'm son, and just like to say that.
Only son.
Yep, only son. Just like to say on behalf of our family, Parker, Collins, Casey, Mom, and I, that we're extremely proud of how you've handled yourself and business that you've taken care of. You set a great example for our family. Julie, thank you much. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
With that, before I jump into the resolution, before I got elected, a bunch of people from the community, and they all told me to call Julie and John. They kept saying, call Julie and John. You want to know about the city, the things they've been doing, things that they've been working on. Call Julie and John. And the blessing in that is that when I was just like before I was elected, I was able to call Julie and John. And you all shared your wisdom, your understanding, your vision. But more than that, more than sharing what you thought, you were willing to put in the work to get that done. And so very few people do that. So very few people take that step of having a thought and a vision and willing to put it on paper, willing to stand in people who would agree with them and stand in front of the people who would agree with them. Do the same thing that I know you all have been committed to for longer than 11 years. And that is put the people of the city, community, even before your own thoughts or visions. You knew that if you were to get anything done in the city, you were to change the community, it'd take all of us. It'd take community new. It would take communities you didn't understand. It'd take people you had numbers. It'd take people who you had to find their numbers. And over 11 years, that is what you all have done. You all have fought, not for yourselves, not for your families, not for a little plot of land that you own inside of the city. but you fought for the people of this city. And that is more, uh, it's more than to be commended, to be respected. And oftentimes in this world, people just say things to get along, say things to agree with people. We can be thankful in a little city on the south coast of Georgia, in Brunswick, that we had a Jenna John that chose to not tell us what we always thought was right, not always agree with us, but to listen enough, tell us what they believed was right. And that's hard. For 11 years, you've been doing a hard job. Family has done that hard job right along with you. They've been talked about on the news and written about in the newspaper. And they stood beside you. And that's a sacrifice. Same sacrifice that when I see our officers, I thank you for your sacrifice. When I see our military members, I say thank you for your sacrifice. For 11 years, if I can leave you with a few words, thank you for your sacrifice. Throughout our history, those who dedicate their lives to public service have achieved for our families, our communities, and our country. And whereas citizen or public service have been made lifelong contributions to our community, setting an example for all of us on the importance of service, sacrifice, and determination. And whereas public service and involves citizens represent some of the quality of mankind and are treasured residents of our community. And whereas the city of Brunswick recognizes G.T. Martin and John A. Cason III for 12 years of dedication, commitment, and service to a community as a South and North Ward City Commissioner. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Cosby H. Johnson, and my fellow commissioners of the city of Brunswick recognize Mayor Pro Tem Julie T. Martin and Commissioner John A. Cason III for 11 years of service as city commissioners and wish them continued success in their next chapter in life. God bless you. May keep you. And I hope you truly feel the sincere thanks, not only from heart, but the heart of a city. We are going to bring forward plaques, but also take a pause for a moment to take some pictures. And we ask that the entire community come up and get some pictures with Commissioner Martin and Commissioner Case. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
That's absolutely beautiful.
No, that's gonna be after,
We are in recess. Take a couple pictures. Please take time. Take your time. Or with that, we will move on to the items to consider for we will consider approval of November 15th, 2020 regularly scheduled meeting minutes.
I'll make
Open.
a motion to approve minutes from the, November 15th, 2023 regular schedule meeting.
Here,
Second.
here in the first and the second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye. Aye. All
Aye.
those the same. All those opposed the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. We will now move on to number 4.
Mr. Mayor, the
yes.
public comment period.
I apologize. Now open it for public comment. I can see.
Good evening. I have been on my agenda for a week, but since this is going to be my last meeting before this commission, I want to chalk my agenda and use mine to commend Commissioner Martin and Commissioner Kim. I've worked with these two people for as long as I've been there. Thank you, Mayor. You don't usually give me an applause. But I want to just thank you all for your service. To sit on a commission or on anything, as long as you've been working for us, is commendable. I want to thank you. And I didn't speak as a family member. I feel like a family member with Commissioner Martin. Because we've been to hell in the community. And I want to just talk my 2 minutes about that. Commissioner Martin was our secretary when Brian Thompson ran for mayor. We rented that big old white building next to the fire station. Used to be a funeral home. And Commissioner Martin, we worked like she was salary. But she coordinated Brian Thompson's campaign. It cost us thousands of dollars. I know this is kind of crazy for a mayor who was raised in Brunswick, but that election cost thousands of dollars. And here's why. Number one, Commissioner ran it like it was a business. We got in the middle of the campaign and we had the ex-president of the Black Panther Party came down and made candidacy for the mayoral. She carried us to court twice. Most of you know we all went to California for deal or no deal. Bought back $202,000. We had to spend most of that on the court. That was a mess. Commissioner Martin shoulder to shoulder with Brian Thomas and myself. I was his assistant campaign manager. His real campaign manager lived in Savannah, but he was just a printer expert. He did all the printing and stuff. But that election cost just thousands of dollars. I hate to tell you, but Commissioner Martin, all of our cocktail parties, because we met all over the country, and thousands of dollars, just little cocktail sips. But all of that went to the courthouse. And Elaine Brown didn't spend on for a lawyer because she represented herself. She was a smart girl in California. But they brought her down here to run for mayor. And I would, Martin, I don't know whether do you remember this? She coordinated the whole thing in that big old funeral home we down there on the corner. And I should never get this, worked her to death. And I don't know whether you were a commission, you were on the committee at that time. I think Commissioner Casey was. But I would never forget how you worked us to death and we worked you to death. And I want to thank you for it. And that's really what I want to use this time for. And I'm glad to see the community came out to wish you well and do what I'm doing. Go into retirement. If you got me real retirement, I know you both are retired, but don't do nothing. I to do as nothing every day as I possibly can. And I find that to be hard sometimes. People won't let you go. Yeah. But you have to go yourself. So I would thank you and let you know that the community appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
We second that emotion, Mr. Griffin. But I'll say we'll keep the spot on the next meeting for the next public comment. Because I appreciate you putting it on the back burner for now, but I know you got something. We'll put it on the next meeting. With that, we will move to number 4, consider approval of 9 alcohol license renewals and 5 renewals with previous violations. Brown.
Good evening. We do have 9 alcohol license up for renewal. No kind of violations with these. So
we see that I think 5 are up for or 9 full, 5 of previous violations. So quickly, I think just the 5 previous violations, they haven't had any violations for the rest of the year. Correct. From the time they've come before us, fixed whatever we asked them to fix, whether it's different cash registers, training. There haven't been any more additional violation 5.
Correct.
Okay.
That it as far steps in place to make sure that they are taking the measures they need to for any underage sales?
Correct.
Okay.
They have, some have gotten machines to scan cards. Some have gotten these on counters to make sure that the casinos, that you gotta check your ID and don't try to come by underage, pretty much.
And while I know the commission served throughout, so they are pretty well versed on the 5 and the 4 public, but I think it would be important. Can you just name the 9 rules? If you can go ahead and name the 4 without violation and let us know 5 with violations. If there are any additional questions, we'll leave it open.
Okay, would you like them one by one?
There's 9.
I have 9 regular ones and I have 5 with, so it's a total of 14. Yeah.
Apologize. Yep. Go ahead.
So the ones without violation, I have a Market on First Ave. I have Newcastle Wine Market. I have El Potro Mexican Restaurant, Tipsy McSway's, Basil, Solar 108, Buffalo Wild Wings, Go Shanty, and Golden Niles Liquor. And the ones that had previous renewal, violation renewals, was Longhorn's House, Olive Garden, Marshside Grill, L Street Liquors, and Q7.
We approve them separate, 5 or not necessarily?
No, I'm perfectly okay with that. The 9 without any issue. Go ahead and approve those singularly.
I'll make a motion that we approve the alcohol license renewals as listed for the 9 businesses that have not had any violations throughout their 1-year term.
Second.
You're in a first and a second. All those in favor show by the sign of aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. None. The motion passes. Now we will bring before us the 5 with violations, and I'm open to the commission to bring them one by one, or if we have any individual questions about one that was listed, we'll ask it before Deputy Brown.
As far as Longhorn, they have done with the card scan. Unfortunately, the person that sold underage were dismissed or terminated from employment, as well as Olive Garden, because they are owned by the same company. So they are scanning IDs, even with if they have the kiosk on the door, to scan your ID as well.
So it was the employee who chose not to scan the cards.
They sold to underage at that point, yes.
And the question that I would have is not for those larger commercial areas, Olive Garden, Longhorn, thank you, Marshside, and we've been able to talk, and their corporate officials have been clear what they've done and how they've changed and implement. L Street, give me the
Lucky 7.
Lucky 7. I understand they are in the vicinity of an NPA who, has certain feelings. So has conversation been had with the NPA?
I have not heard from them since we've come when they got the violation before you. So no, I haven't had any yays or nays against it or
From
them getting
NPA.
renewal from NPA.
Okay.
Correct.
And they haven't had any further violations?
No, sir.
Since then. Any additional questions? Commissioner Harris, I don't want to breeze by. Any questions?
No, I don't have any. I hadn't heard anything from the resident NPA. So no, I don't have any questions.
With that, if we don't have any additional questions, we'll open it for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 5, license, just,
Here the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Here the first and second, all those in favor, usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Brown. We will now move on to approval of County and City of Brunswick Emergency Operation Plan. Good to see you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Board. Appreciate y'all's time. I should elect not to do my 82-page PowerPoint on hurricanes tonight. So I bring to you the joint local emergency operation plan. It is a plan both myself and the Glenn County team has worked to incorporate a 50-foot view of our operations for any major events for hurricane or hazards that threaten our community, how we operate as one cohesive unit, matching our teams, our resources to be able to respond to community for any disasters.
I think the things I question about. Number one, we obviously mitigated the disaster by our fire persons, your bravery, Glenn County's bravery, Jacksonville, and a whole of other communities. But I think the fire on the Panova footprint taught us some things about, maybe some questions need to be asked to ensure that we are better prepared for those moments. Talk to us a bit about the work that you all have done on acquiring more foam to make sure that we have a joint task force for issues like that as we move forward.
Absolutely. So, for example, tomorrow we have a joint exercise at Georgia Pacific with the Glenn County and the Brunswick hazmat team, and the city of Brunswick also being the regional hazmat team for this area. We are going to be able to demonstrate and utilize the new foam trailers that purchased response to the Panova fires. So we'll be able to highlight that equipment. We have classes going on where we're training our local fire departments to be technicians, required training from the state and federal government to be able to be the regional. We currently have, I want to say, over 20 responders in that class right now being next level certified and able to respond in a more rapid fashion. We've worked closely with Savannah and Jacksonville with their established hazmat teams to get their standards and trainings, procedure, their equipment notification, and we're working on long purchases, long-term training engagements, and continual efforts to make sure that we are respond. That is something that's been ongoing. As far as how we've worked with the county, we've been doing long-term plans and utilizing resources to create overall plans in response to everything from shelter-in-place evacuations to out-of-community evacuations for hazmats, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, wind events, anything, ice storms coming up. We're talking about winter weather, warming stations, shelters of last refuge, finding new plans with the state. What their sheltering plan is with a sister community, Coffee County. Next year, we're looking at the state is actually stepping in to represent all the communities on the coast to have a sister county agreement. So that will be something down I'll be presenting as well as a joint effort to ensure that if we do call and evacuate out of our community, we know where they're going, we know how they're going to get set, how they're getting there and coming home. We've also been working with long-term mitigation and creating projects, finding funding through the state and GEMA. GEMA and FEMA currently right now for creating new products that will make us more resilient with some of the city buildings, the public institutes that we have to find funding for that. So that way, if we have incidents, we do have disasters here, we'll be able to respond better, quicker, and be able to bring our people back faster, and also withstand some of the stormages or major incidences that could happen.
So the approval of this city and county emergency operating plan, that put us in a position to be able to apply for grant funding for equipment down the road? Does it help with our insurance rating? What are some of the, I mean, other than the fact that this is great for community, are there some other tangible benefits?
Yes, ma'am. A great question. It does. It's something that allows us to be able to get the Homeland Security grants, to get reimbursements for damage from the state and federal side, which we're currently in the process right now talking to them. And having these plans in place and updated allows us to be able to qualify for those grants and for mitigation as well. It's one of the required information we have to provide, showing that we have a plan in place, where our resources are, and how we would respond long-term. It also allows for free training to be able to provide it as, so that way we can get the required training from any level government that we have within the public safety area, to be able to respond in the event of a disaster. And this plan outlines all of those actions. So one of the big things that we try not to spell, but we live by acronyms, but we say EF, but that's the emergency support functions. And that breaks down exactly every area of the public does, public safety, I mean, for the government side, we do in response for planning, police, fire, logistics. So for food, for feeding, for all those responses that are needed, operation, how we're going to deal with disasters. This plan lays all that out, and then it allows to get the resources we need to effectively enact those plans.
I know there's many of y'all that have been working on this for over a year, and I was amazed by the plan and how thorough it was and how much work and went into. Thank you.
Thank you.
You and all those that were working.
And how about debris cleanup? Will this take care of that too?
So that's a 50,000 foot view. The benefit of having this plan being a plan within the county, starting next year, we actually have funding for a contract planner from Lane County. And one of the things is a debris management plan they are reading with us in mind as a joint team. So those are being allocated to us to represent us in that plan, which is a separate plan, the debris management, but it becomes a part of the overall emergency response plan. But having helps ensure that we also get those plans taken care of.
Big turn when we need it.
Yeah, fun fact for the debris. I just got done talking to FEMA. We have another meeting in January. We ended up collecting around 360 tons of debris in the city with the weight tickets that we had. So just how hard our public works did the entire month to clean up our city. It was a lot of effort.
You know, one of the things too that considering where you're going to put all this stuff and knowing where you're going to put all of the debris and keeping it in a neighborhood as much as possible.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Commissioner Martin, done for this great plan. Is there anything, Regina, that you see?
Not really. I just wanted to say that, I'm thankful to have city being in conjunction with the county. I think in the past we have, can on the back burner of all the planning that may have been done for emergency management. And at this point, we are at the front lines making decisions for the city in conjunction with, their response to emergencies. It's very helpful. We've got training that's going on that's not done in the past, and a lot of different things that we are considering as I said on one end of debris management, sheltering, and all those things. We still want to make sure that the commission, your concerns addressed. So if you have any concerns that you feel like we need to, further deal, then please bring that to our attention. Thank you.
Well, I would assume this is a bit of a living document too. As we go through episodes and things, always learn from them. I know that having gone through some of those training exercises, the city and there's always that good conversation on the backside about, what could we do better? What do we need to change, tweak, or into place to improve how emergency response?
Yes, ma'am.
There's just a couple things, Commissioner Roll. Okay, Commissioners.
I just want to say thank you. I think this is a document that, like Julie said, is a living document, but I think that is something, a comprehensive document that's been a long overdue. And so I just want to tell you, thank you. Just also, with the resiliency that you talked about, um, uh, in those areas of potential flooding when we don't have like a major hurricane, but just because of where we are you all looking at that or talking about that? If I overlooked it in the document, forgive me, but I don't remember reading anything about it. I know we talked about the larger disasters and natural disasters, but sometimes just our natural local disasters because we're on the marshlands and we're right we're the peninsula and all around, surrounded by all of this water. And so now with the changes in our environment, et cetera, then we are experiencing more frequent flooding in areas we hadn't once experienced it in, and even more so frequently in areas that we historically experience it in.
Yes, ma'am. You bring up a point, and the document you're referring to, we do have a very comprehensive one that is called the Joint Hazard Mitigation Plan, and that addresses exactly those concerns. Long-term disasters that could affect short-term, large events, small events. There is a document that is updated 5 years, and I believe it was adopted last year, and we are working on getting a copy of that because that does represent both the city and the county. Be able to be broadcasted to everywhere, but it is already FEMA and GMA approved. So for those plans and docs, that's another thing that allows us to get the mitigation grants and resiliency for those specific things. Would we need to create those products is in place, and that is something we'll be updating as well as with this plan. Plan is again the 50-foot thousand view. This is the high end, just exactly what we do for a blanket all disasters. When we get into specific, the hazard mitigation plan, which is another very meaty 100-page document that we can happily go over to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Two things really quickly. One, going back to Nova fire incident, ran out of water on that footprint. Had to put up on the fence and move to municipal water, and then that we didn't fire break out in a certain area of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Is water so involved in true hazard mitigation, how pulling or straining from a certain area may affect our emergency services during an emergency? And has that been any conversation at all?
So they work very closely with us in developing these plans response. They actually have a team that's going through and becoming certified emergency manager as well. So they understand the language and what we need to do, especially for those events, because we have frequently, we work together so much. And it goes down to commission. The sooner they get notified and they're a part of the cycle of we need water to a certain direction, the faster they can route that water to us in those areas. It's one of those things of having plans like this in place that allows us to have a checklist for public safety to say, if we have a big event, the next call should also be water sewer. They should be a part of that team to know we need to reroute the pressure to come to. Say it doesn't affect the other areas, but those are something that we do have in place.
Perfect, because what I think about immediately just for Brunswick proper, it's not necessarily Panova. We're reimagining that property, but we still have a place that stores pellets in the summer. There are fairs right up against. So having a real conversation about, where is water routed during that time is important. The second piece is, tacking on to what Commissioner Harris said, and I know Commissioner has been out as well during these disasters. Ensure that we have materials ready to mitigate damage, and that being actually written into the plan. What I don't want to do is have previous or commissions after this make kind of time decisions about buy sand, don't buy sand, we're available, how do you do it? Kendra and I in the city truck and drive off, which is all great. We're going to do that anyway. But having an understanding of when is it available, how do we make it available? Because as Commissioner said, I think as a low-lying community, there are things that reach the level of an emergency that are emergencies that people's, whether that's flooding or whatnot, and the way we think about that. I know this is said 3,000-foot view, but as you all dig into those details, to have that conversation. I don't have any other questions. We'll open it for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the County City of Brunswick Emergency Operation Plan as has been presented.
Hearing a first and a second, all those in favor show by a sign of aye.
Aye.
All those the same, hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you and your Director Hill. We got you back to back. Consider of enterprise zone incentives for 1400-02 Castle.
Right. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. For you, enterprise zone application for 1402 Newcastle Street. That's city building and the building that used to house Dr. Everett's eye care practice. You may remember enterprise zones around for a little bit. We have had 14 applications since the time we've had those. This one is for abating fees only. I know the original, when it was originally submitted to the Finance Committee, we had talked about the tax abatement, but they have received partial notification from the state, so they will be getting the preferential property tax assessment program from the state. So this is only for the fees, which are occupation taxes for the first year, building fees, inspection fees, things like that. The total project budget right now is about $2 million. And the project, when it's finished, they have a tenant. They're working with a tenant for the build out on the first, which will put 35 jobs. Most of them are part-time, but that will be an exciting announcement when it's able to be.
Even though you cannot divulge who that would be, is there any further information you can give us about the business, or are there so many part-time employees?
Food-related business, so imagine that's, and they have experience in that business, so they know how best to work scheduling, especially in this community with many college and high school students part-time. It's probably a better way to go for service.
Food service.
Yeah.
And that's for the entire first floor?
Yes. There are a few little part pieces of it that are, the plan is in your pack. First, access points for the second floor and this area. Most of the first floor will be one business. One of the applicants is here if you have any questions for him. You can stand up.
We love to have them come up.
What we do?
We don't want to scare you. We promise.
How can I help y'all?
What are you gonna do?
So the plan
Thank you.
is,
Thank you in advance.
the plan is the upstairs of 1400, which is the corner building, the Tabby building, will be one apartment. There will actually 2 apartments versus 3 on the upstairs of the old city drugstore. Downstairs will be, there is, dating back to 1935, a section of the shared wall that was knocked out back when it was Zell's car door. We're going to try to reopen that, assuming yes, and SHPO. And then that would be one entire food service establishment with multiple apartments, if you will. They are currently local. People are looking to move in and really not my announcement to make. But any other questions or?
What is the difference in you being able to tax credits this time and the problems you had over on budget?
Yeah, so to be
I
clear,
mean,
that was Robin
that was a
Durant.
nail biter.
To be clear, that's Robin Durant, not me.
Okay.
I actually don't have any money at stake here. I'm just out managing the project.
Matthew, do you have any idea what that is?
I think it's a timing issue. At the other ends, there was an architect involved at one point that had indicated that the process had been started when in actuality it had not started. So then when they went for that process, construction is on the road. So now the state has been contacted for the project. There's a consultant who's familiar with tax credits in Georgia and how the Historic Preservation Office works. So they got in early.
And we've been following that process very closely. We actually have the Part 2 application that's already been approved, which is we've submitted to show this is what we're going to do it. Given approval for, for us to go ahead and do that. We now need to do some modification plan, but very carefully following.
That we're done.
It would be great. It's a very exciting project.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. Any additional questions for Director Hill?
Matthew, you said that, so this application is now just for the fees, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so just for that 61.95.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any additional questions? With that, we'll open it for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve abating the fees, permitting fees, et cetera, for
1400-02.
1400-02 Newcastle Street.
Second.
Here in the first second, all those show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Director Hill. Now moving on to consider approval of enterprise incentive for 1615 Reynolds Street.
All right. Thank you for the first one there. This one is Byron Ease, the old print. Some of you may remember when there was a printing company there on Wall Street. It's kind of a low, one-story metal building set back from the road. You probably may have never noticed it because it is set.
Paramount Press. Right?
Yes, Paramount was there. So Byron Tees is moving here, and this is a manufacturer / retail store. They don't grow the tea, but they would package tea and would also have the ability to package tea for other people. So if Commissioner Rolls Teas got and she needed to have it put in tea bags, they could do it. So this one is total cost about $75,000. They are creating 7 jobs, and they are asking for the abatement as well as the property tax abatement. The Downtown Development Authority Board has reviewed it. The Finance Committee reviewed it, but not make a recommendation, and all the city departments have split it and reviewed it. So the fees would total approximately $2,390, and over the 10 years, the property tax, city-only property tax abatement will save $7,000.
I'm sorry, I'm looking again, Peter, but what were the permitting fees totaled?
$2,395.
23.95.
Thank you. Well, I would offer a suggestion to the commission for consideration that we perhaps allow waiving the permitting fees and that we look at a schedule for tax abatement. 2 years at 100%, years 3 and 4 at 80%, years 5 and 6 at 60%, and years 6 and 8 at 40%.
So what is the amount equating to that you're talking about when changing it? I actually missed this meeting, so our finance committee meeting, so I didn't get all the details on that. So what is the total that you're suggesting equates to, Julie?
Commissioner, I didn't go that far. That required a computer and paper. I'm sorry, I didn't actually.
I don't want to I don't want number compares, but I do want to repeat the schedule. So it would have us receiving instead of in the fourth year, the 3rd year. So the first 2 years would be 100% abatement. The next 2, 3 and 4 would be 80%. And then the next 2, 5 and 6 would be 60%. And then the next 7, 8 with 40%. So we could do quick math. I'm not gonna do the quick math. We can do some quick math.
Just keep vamping a little bit.
Right, keep going. So the 40% is at 610. So it kicked that up a year. So that 406.90 turned into 1040. Okay.
Because at current, and I've not done that, and I'm not where I can do the new calculation, but at current as presented, with fees and the property tax abatement, that would equate to 94,1461 total amount that the city would be given as it would be incentivizing. In our value gain is at 70,000.
So it would be with the fees and the new schedule, approximately 7,482 would be the total of tax.
So it's only an increase of a couple of dollars or so. Well, a little bit, a couple of dollars. So you said it would be 74?
Yes.
74 what now?
Now this is math I'm doing on my phone, so.
Understood.
I think it's always important to keep in mind that the threshold to apply to be applicable is 5 full-time.
And I'm glad you hit that, Julie, because as I reviewed the application, it just says 7 employees. It doesn't specify if these are 7 full-time employees, if these are 7 part-time employees. There's a requirement for 10% higher of low income to low to moderate income employees. I didn't see that indicated on that application. So these are questions that I had, was what type of employees, and are these full-time, part-time? What's the percentage of the low to moderate income? That's a requirement on that application as well.
Do you know, Matthew?
I do know they did check the boxes under the low moderate income question. They did check 2 of the boxes as for qualifying employees, but they didn't, you're right, they didn't say which. And maybe that's something we need to change on this form. Just add a section for that. They didn't say which, if any of those jobs. I would imagine it'd be numbers, I don't know, it could be through 7. Everybody but the CEO could be out of the group.
And I guess even looking further into that, and I mean, I want to incentivize them as much as we possibly can, because we are pro business, but we still look carefully at what's actually coming and what we're actually giving up. So as I'm looking at this application even further, I'm looking at the wages that are going to be paid. So when I looked at one spot and I saw $7, I'm like, I got kind of concerned with that. I don't know what, the how that was configured or how that was derived, but when I'm looking at it, and as we're looking at housing matters within the city, and the affordability of housing, so I'm kind of looking at all of these factors as they come into play, and as we're incentivizing, and how we're looking at incentivizing, potential employers or what have you, and then what we're looking at giving up as a city. So trying to measure that and balance all of that, because I saw 15, I saw 10, I saw 12, I saw 7. I really got concerned when I saw $7, because that's not even a livable wage. Well, that's not even minimum wage, let alone livable wage. So I'm just kind of weighing in all of these factors and stuff. So I mean, I love the premise of the business, and getting them here to help us to even be able to provide 7 additional job opportunities for people. So those are just some of the things that I noted.
I think it's a high suspect rate now, $15 an hour for the CEO, well, for the district, and for an operator. Guy that knows the wine's getting $12 an hour. Yeah. Are these legitimate, you think?
They are currently in business in the Macon area. So
I would imagine wait staff is probably going to be dependent upon tips too. So
right.
That.
And I would say I believe that everything that Commissioner Harris James plays into the truncated schedule that Commissioner put forward. If you're not seeing the job return that one would imagine, you can shrink that schedule, which I think Commissioner Martin has done by a year, which I think is important. At the same time, I think it's important for kind of smaller businesses to be able to get their footing and to grow. And what I would assume is starting out, whoever is, packaging this product isn't current full time, but they hope to grow to full time, and help them get there. So I think taking everything into Commissioner Harris and Commissioner Kaysen, that have a smaller, basically benefit schedule that Commissioner Martin has put forward.
Yeah, because we definitely want them to succeed, and so we don't want to cause anybody to to fail or to be set up for failure. But we also want to uh, make sure that we're carefully considering the stimulation of our local income levels and addressing our poverty levels.
So Matt,
Completely agree.
purchased the real estate,
Pardon me?
they own the real estate
Yes.
over there?
Yes.
How long have they been there?
They bought it 2 months ago, maybe. They've just purchased the building, so they're in the process of getting their permits to do the work.
They started the remodeling?
They've started some work.
I would like to suggest that, you know, when we've got these applications, that we have a representative from the company. We can ask questions, get a better understanding.
You know, and what would be help too, would be to have some history up here for the folks that haven't been up here. We've got criteria and guidelines. Like I was asking you before over here, City Global Bill, what did we do for the winery there? It's both key problems. And so some history there with a full bunch, and I was gonna get in touch with you about all this and come back with me. Good news that they got the historical credit. Had to provide some of that information.
Looking if there's some similar one that's manufacturing isn't typical.
I find these
It-
wages, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, but wages are not what we're really looking at.
I think it may kind of factor in, because when we're looking at this, we're also looking at the potential of the employees and their reinvestment back into our community as well, economically. And so I think it's a full picture that we need to really encapsulate. We need to really capture and look at, you know, how is this going to play out over the long term as far as those persons that are going to be employed. And when we're talking about, I mean, there's the big buzz about housing, and when we're talking about workforce housing, and we're talking about affordable housing, you know, so I guess I may be delving into it a little bit more, but those are still things that come to mind for me and come in to play for me as well. And then how are we measuring when we are talking about that 10% of the low to moderate income persons that's being hired? How are we measuring the accountability of the persons or companies or whomever it is that they're actually complying with that part of the requirement for the application? Because again, that's playing back into our ability of these employees to live, work, and play in the city limits.
It is. This is my thought. And Commissioner Harris, you let me know if you're all right with I, unless this is something that ends the business model of the tea company. I am perfectly fine holding this off until the December 10th meeting, where we give Director Hill a chance to do that information and give each commissioner time to have a direct conversation with said property owner and business owner. If that, Commissioner Harris, you tell me what that sounds like to you.
That sounds good, because while we're also doing this, we're also fiscally responsible fiduciaries to make sure that we are also assisting this company in being successful, as well as and that success also goes with whom they are able to employ and what the employees are able to afford. We want to attract them here, but those that are going to be working for them, we want to attract them here to the city as well and keep them in the city.
Well, you want to be equitable too, but you want to have some guidance. So I make a motion.
I'll second.
Here in the first and the second, those in favor, the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Here none, the motion passes. Director Hill, I know we will be in touch. I know DDA has heard both of these applications as well. So make sure maybe the chair of the DDA has a conversation with some of the as well as ensuring that the business owner is available on the 20th.
Right, and if they're not, we'll work it.
I know they have
to
to
where
work
they're
out
available.
something, right?
Yeah, figure it out.
Right.
Right.
All right. Director Hill, anything else?
No, that's all. I was
That's
just
it.
going to Commissioner and Commissioner Martin that thank you. We've been doing this all the time together, and I look forward to working with the new commissioner. Well, there, yeah.
Big
you move.
shoes.
And you can see that this is a short-term job at the city of Brunswick, because I don't like change, girl.
It took us 12 years to get the hang of it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I will say, Director Hill, I've been asked by Commissioner Martin for a commission mayor's cart for the Christmas parade. She's got a special guest, and that special guest being our parade. So I just want to make sure that we have 2 emeritus carts each year. I'm gonna put it on you. I'm gonna bother you about it.
The emeritus commissioners, still commissioners,
Okay.
commissioner-elects are in the.
That
they have
there you
those
go.
too. So
You make the commissioner elects walk.
I've done this. I've done this.
I'll be out there walking with him. That's it. We'll be good to go.
You walk your first parade.
We did.
And
No.
I just wanted to say one other thing for Commissioner Case, since he's leaving. I saw him looking. We did find a company who actually is willing to bid on fixing that.
Oh man.
Believe it
They
or not.
say,
Believe it or not, I'm gonna ask, I get done.
I knew you were going to ask.
Let's go.
So just for the bid, they said they'd get it to us this week. So we hope it'll be,
You know,
There you go.
I'd like to say just something before we close. One of the lot of things that I had an opportunity to do while I was working with the city and on commission. This building is one of the ones that I am just proud of. I really am. Mostly done by folks that were right here, Glenn County and Brunswick. And there was a lot of detail, not affordable, with the money that we had to do and with folks, everybody just for love and not for money. You got a building that is close to historical preservation. I can't tell you what cent it is, but it's high. You did not have that kind of funding here. It's just a privilege to do it. And I'll give you an example. So when you walk by, you can, this roof up here could have been perhaps a 15 or a 30 roof. You got this one. And it didn't come. They did. It took a lot of people going to bat and being sure we did what we could do with the money, spending it where it would pay off the most. This is a privilege to sit here and to be able to enjoy this. The only request I've got is we did not fix this up here for security. And I ran looking at it down the road.
Well, Director Hill, we thank you, and we've been in executive session. All
Thank
right,
you,
before we
Matthew, for
close-
everything.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. I just
Before
want to
we
tell
close-
Matthew for everything.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell Matthew, thank you for everything that he is doing through the DDA and the due diligence and hard work that he puts in for us. We thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris Harris. I want to make a quick announcement before we open it for adjournment. Next meeting on the 10th. My administration, our commission will be bringing forward something that has been important to Commissioner Kaysen and Commissioner Martin and the entire commission for a long time. And that's tax relief for our property owning citizens. We will bring forward the first part of our package will include some work that this commission and the up commission will need to get done in Atlanta. And that work will be to ensure that we bring a homestead exemption to the city of Brunswick. Not only do we bring that homestead exemption to the city of Brunswick, but we protect and free property values for traditional home owning citizens inside of the city of Brunswick. That's something that we have had conversations with Representative Townsend about. That's conversations that we've had with Senator Hodges, something that I've talked to legislative leadership on sides of, and that we will bring forward not only in the next meeting for a public hearing to get it done, while Commissioner Kaysen, who's fought for it day in and day out, come on, amen, to bring tax relief, and Commissioner Mark, who's done so much to reshape the city of Brunswick. We'll be bringing forward next meeting to make sure we get that done and we can go on the fight in Atlanta. With that, we'll open it for a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
First and second, all those in favor show by sign of aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, none. This meeting is adjourned.